آریانا افغانستان یگانه شبکه تلویزیونی ملی افغان‌ها در خارج از کشور.
توانا بود ارکی دانا بود، ز دانش دل پیر برنا بود.
دلای او بخونکه خدای پنامه گران و قدرمن دوستان سلام علیکم ایله دچی رو خوشحال هاورام سی او دینن رزه دی پوهن رماده به اخبارونه دیر هر اغلاست ز مریم اسماعیل سلایم او دا اخبارونه تاسته دی آریانا افغانستان دی نریواله شبکه خبرنده کام او هیله دارم چه دینن رزه دی اخبارونه معلومات دستاسو دست رپور او استفاده ورسی. بینندگان عزیز و ارجمند برنامه دانش دوشناهی است. با آرزوی صحت و سلامت شما برنامه امروز را آغاز می‌کنیم. امیدوار هستم شاد و صحتمند باشین و هفته خوش و پرثمره را در هر گوشه و کنار جهان که هستین با عزیزانتان یک جا سپری کرده باشین و امیدوار هستم که باز هم برنامه امروز مورد استفادهتان قرار بگیره و باز هم خوشحال هستم که در برابر شما عزیزان قرار دارم. قبل از اینکه به محتویات برنامه امروز بپردازم میخوام از مهمانای هفته گذشته و مخصوصا از جینا جان کریمی که یک جوان بسیار زحمتکش و پرکار هستن و همیشه لطف میکنن و وقتی که برشان ضرورت می داشته باشم که جوانای عزیز به من معرفی کنن بسیار زحمت میکشن و همیشه لطف میکنن و از اینکه مهمانان هفته گذشته را با ما به ارتباط گذاشتن از جینا جان کریمی ممنون سپاسگزار هستم و با آرزوی کمک ها و همکاری متداومشان هستم. خب دوستان عزیز و ارجمند، البته با انتخابات هفته گذشته نتیجه انتخابات میفهم که با دل اکثریت ما شما نبود، نه تنها از ما شما بلکه تمام جهان، ولی خب چاره نیست، ما شما باید قسم فکر کنیم که وقتی یک تیاره می باشیم اگر پیلوت دوست نمی داشته باشیم خوش نداریم، اما آرزو نمی داشته باشیم که همه ما شما خدای نخواسته تیاره سقوط کنه و همه ما از بین بریم. با او خاطر باید چاره نداریم، مثبت فکر کنیم و مخصوصا ما شما که در اقلیت قرار داریم. ولی در برنامه امروز دو مهمان بسیار محترم و گرامی دارم که اگر فرزندان ما به خاطر که اصلا اولادای ما به اینجا بزرگ شدن، فرزندان ما اینا زیادتر وقت مکتب میرن، رویشان تاثیرات زیادی برایشان میگذاره نتایج چنین انتخابات، به خاطر که بعضی اوقات شاید که شاگردای دیگه اینا را باعث اذیتشان شود به خاطر از اینکه ما در اقلیت هستیم و مسلمان هستیم و بعضی موضوع دیگی که بسیار مهم است بر والدین در مورد فرزندانشان در مکاتب در امریکا بدانند، نه تنها در امریکا، در دنیای غرب در همش این مسائل البته هر روز میگذره و هرقدر سطح آگاهی ما شما بلند باشه، هرقدر معلومات ما زیادتر باشه و بدانیم که فرزندان ما هر روز برای اینا چی میگذره و چی چیزا بالایشان اثر میگذاره، فشارهای اجتماعی اثراتش چی است. در برنامه امروز زیر همه در موردش صحبت میکنیم و همچنان در مورد از اینکه چطور فرزندان ما بتونن در مکتب، مخصوصا مکاتب متوسطه و عالی بتونن موفق باشن که به کالج های خوبتر هم داخل شوند و اگر مشکلات آموزشی چیزی می داشته باشن هم در این مورد صحبت میکنیم و شما دوستای عزیز و ارجمند هم اگر در هر موردی که در مورد بر ارتباط جوانان و نوجوانا باشه، میخواین صحبت کنین، سوال کنین، حتما که لاینای تلفن باز می باشه و پاسخگوی سوالای شما عزیزان هم می باشید. خب دوستان عزیز، هرچند قسمی که گفتم، مهمانای عزیز من دو مهمان محترم هستن که دویشون مدیرهای مکاتب هستن، که آقای جاش ولکسن که مدیر مکتب متوسطه هستن و تقریبا 5 سال تجربه دارن، و همچنین آقای کریس کارتر که 7 سال تجربه مدیر مکتب بودن در مکتب متوسطه و 5 سال هم در مکتب عالی دارن، و اینا بسیار مهمانای هستن که تجربه زیاد دارن و انسان‌های بسیار با درک و مهربان هستند و همیشه در قسمت شاگردانی که در اقلیت قرار دادن، از هر نگاه چیه، از هر قومیت، از هر زبان و هر مذهبی که باشه، همیشه اونا رو پشتیبانی کردن و همیشه با پدران و مادران، با والدین اینا همکار بودن. و حالا خوش آمدید میگیم به مهمانان عزیز خود. خب دوستان عزیز، ارجمند شما هم مهمانای ما. Welcome, it's a pleasure having you both in here. Thank you very much for accepting my invitation.
Thanks for having us back.
Yes, thank you for having us.
البته دوستان عزیز، آقای جاش ولکسن سال گذشته هم مهمان ما بودن و آقای کریس کارتر در گذشته 2 بار مهمان برنامه ما بودن. So there are a lot of questions, of course, and I'm sure parents have a lot of questions too, so we will take some calls too if we have any. But before I get into other social issues and also academic issues, what's going on currently as a result of the current election, I want to see, because there are a lot of protests and demonstrations going on everywhere, at the college level, at the high school level. I just wanted to know, first maybe at the middle school level, is there anything going on? Are students feeling bullied? If they are, what can parents do? How can we resolve these issues?
Well, just like anything, when something changes, there is a little bit of discourse that's going on. But at the middle school level, we haven't really seen much. But just like anything, I would like to say, be it the election or being bullying, about knowing your resources to who you can reach out to with teachers and administrators and counselors to help kids move through times when they don't agree with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Should parents reach out, or should they encourage their child? What would be the best way?
It's sometimes, many times, parents think that once their kid gets to middle school or high school that they should be stepping back. But I encourage parents to be involved with their kids all the way through middle school and high school. If they have concerns, they should be reaching out to us and working with their kids to help be advocates for themselves to make sure they feel safe at school.
Very good. And what can you add to that, especially when it comes to high school students?
Yeah, so once they transition from middle school to high school, I think as parents, we assume that they're going to take on more responsibility, and that's true. We want to give them the opportunity to take on more responsibilities, especially in solving their own situations. Right now, with what we've had going on, I think that if anybody hears that there's something that might be racial, or kids are being picked on because of their nationality or the color of their skin or something like that, those are things that probably should be brought to our attention. I think if we know that there's individual situations happening on our campuses, then we can deal with them on a one-by-one basis. And if we don't get involved with the situation, we may find that it could become a bigger issue. Currently, our campus in South Orange County is very quiet, and our kids are going about their business. But if some things have come up where kids may have been maybe picked on, or maybe something was said in passing for the most part, and we have had parent phone calls. So our situation with a parent is to get as much information as we can, because quite often it's education. Mm-hmm. It's education not only for the parents, but also for the children, and especially the child that maybe is making the comments mm-hmm. that are inappropriate. They need to be brought in and perhaps talked to about how they're making other people feel. So sometimes we feel like, yes, our children can handle it all on their own. We want children to try to handle certain situations on their own, and we would encourage them to be able to maybe let the other child know that it made them feel uncomfortable, that it was inappropriate, and they didn't, they don't really respect them treating them that way. But if it continues, absolutely, I would like a phone call so that we can work on that as a group of adults and work with the children involved.
Okay, so let's say the parents talk to you and you have that child who has been picking on their child. You talk to them. At the high school level, do you see any retaliation? Would that fire back? Because a lot of times students, even at the middle school level, they're intimidated, they're scared, they're afraid of retaliation. Is that an issue? Is that a problem at either level?
I think when we're dealing with individuals, everything is, and we're dealing with a certain situation. So I would say that retaliation could be something that could happen. So I think it's real to say that, oh no, don't worry, that wouldn't happen. So quite often, if we hear of a situation, we would go about it in a more anonymous type of kind of tactic. So I would encourage parents, call an administrator to have the conversation. So if you're feeling that there's something going on that's making your child feel uncomfortable and it's pervasive and ongoing on a campus, it's worth having the conversation. So it might not only be their child that this other individual's kind of picking on or maybe making inappropriate comments to. So one of the things that we'll do quite often is we will deal with another child without using the victim, so to speak's name.
Right.
And so we can give that child an opportunity to change his behavior and grow from the experience without trying to make somebody else, to make this victim went and told on you. So those are tactics that we use quite a bit so that we can have an appropriate solution. And hopefully the child moves on. They don't know who maybe brought their name to the administration, and therefore we can monitor. And if it continues, then we can up the intervention with the child. So
yeah, I agree. At middle school, same thing. We want to know right away. We want to get out in front of it. We have lots of different things we can put in place, support pieces to identify who these kids are and address them without having to bring the victim's name up. And what we talk to kids about more when parents call and they talk to us about, they're concerned about retaliation. We talk to them about, we need to end this now because we don't want this to continue on and on and on. We need to address this right now. And just like Chris had said, it's happening to other kids possibly. And we need to address both what is going on with the student that is the victim and why this student feels it's okay to victimize other students. And so we want to get to it right away.
So if a student is victimized in such a situation, do they usually require any kind of counseling advice? Do you recommend that?
So what we find at the middle school level, yes, we have a progressive discipline system in place where they move along things, but it's more the other things that are more important. First, for the student that is being bullied or picked on, what are the tools we have in place at school? Who are the counselors to help them stand up to a kid and tell them to stop that? Because I find in my many years of doing this that when you tell a kid to knock it off, they usually do. And so giving the kids the power to tell a bully to do that, and then also giving them the tools when somebody's not saying something to them, what teachers, what counselors, what administration do they reach out? At our school, we have something called Text to Tip, where they can make an anonymous text to us and it comes to me directly. And so we can address kids in an anonymous way. And so that's important. And then on the other end, with the student that's doing it, why do they think it's okay to make some fun of somebody for whatever physical ailment the student might have, maybe ethnicity, gender? Why are they doing that? And try to get them to understand what they do to other students. And we use that with the counseling piece.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'm just going to do a brief translation.
Okay. Oh yeah, geez, yeah.
خب دوستان عزیز ارجمند، البته سوال از این قرار بود که مخصوصا در بعد از انتخابات امروز هفته گذشته در این روزها بعضی از شاگردای متعلمین مکاتب، کسایی که در اقلیت هستند، مخصوصا چی از ممالک امریکای شمالی و یایی که از امریکای جنوبی مثلا و یایی که ممالکی که اسلامی هستن، ممالک شرق میانه، چی افغان باشه، چی اسپانیایی باشه، چی عرب و ایرانی و همشان، اینا زیر یک فشار هستن، به خاطر که بعد از انتخابات ما خودم هم دیدیم، شاید از این بودیم که بعضی از شاگردای بوده که با شاگردای اقلیت برایشان گفته که خب حالا که آقای ترامپ رئیس جمهور است، حالا شما کجا میرین؟ خب این البته یک مثال بسیار عادی است، ولی بسیار در بعضی موارد و مواقع مثال های موضوعات بسیار مهمتر صورت میگیره که یک متعلم میتونه که بسیار او را از نگاه روانی بسیار متاثر بسازیشه و همچنان تهدید فکر میکنه که تهدید شده میباشه. با اون صورت باید که درست است که وقتی که اولادای ما با مکتب متوسط و عالی هستن، ما فکر میکنیم که باید خودشان مسئولیت دارن، باید اونقدر قوت داشته باشن که بتونن خودشان از خود دفاع کنن و یک چیز بگوین. در بعضی اوقات این چیز شاید درست نباشه. کوشش کنیم که به حیث پدر و مادر ما مخصوصا در این روزا هر واقعی که در مکتب رخ میده سر صحبت با فرزندان خود باز کنیم، ازشان سوال کنیم که چطور است مثلا در موضوع انتخابات کسی صحبت میکنه، کسی شما را اذیت میکنه، چی موضوع را شما میتونید برایشان کمک کنین. اتو برایشان وانمود نسازین که خدا رخصه اونا در یک مشکل قرار دارن، خودشان چیز کردن نمیتونن، با اون صورت نمیخواین خودش کم بیارن و نمیخواین شما به اصطلاح مداخله کنین. اما با قسمت یک صحبت عادی امرشون شروع کنین و سوال کنین و ای که اگر فرزندتون بیای خودش شکایت کنه عادی فکر نکنین و این وقتی که یک نوجوان و یک طفل میاد با پدر و مادر خود شکایت میکنه، این وقت است که بسیار خودش تحمل زیاد کرده و دیده که کمک نکرده، بعداً پیش شما آمده و شما کوشش کنین که به مدیر مکتب تلفن کنین و خودتون شخصاً بروین صحبت کنین و بگوین که فرزندتون در چه موقف قرار داره، اذیت میشه از نگاه روانی او از نگاه بعضی اوقات خدا نخواسته جسمی. باید که برین اول بتین و هر قدر جزئیات و دیتیلز را که زیادتر برشان بتین بسیار مهمتر است، بسیار معلوماتتون مهمتر مفیدتر می باشه. و از این هم نترسین که اگر ما مثلا شکایت کنیم انال ای دختر یا پسر بزده فرزند ما زیادتر جبه میگیره، زیادتر تهدیدش میکنه، زیادتر اذیتش میکنه. امکان نداره، به خاطر که اونا کوشش میکنن که امو هویت طفل که سرش که تهدید شده و یا اذیت دیده، هویت از اونا را مخفی نگاه میکنن. به صورت عمومی اینا یک اینوستیگیشن و یا یک بخاطر معلومات پیدا میکنن که موضوع از چی قرار است و اول از نگاه صحبت کردن امروی امو شاگرد که فرزندتون اذیت میکنه اینا مشکل حل میکنه و اگر ادامه یافت بعد از او از نگاه دیسپلین البته امرشون مقابله میشه و بسیار مهم است که باید به مکتب ریپورت بدید. Since you were 2 times in my show, you were 1 time. Did you pick up any words?
Not a one.
Nope.
I can't even nod.
I was wondering. I just don't want you to get bored. But
Fascinated.
So, if you can tell us, just describe the middle school child in general.
Okay.
So what do they go through? What things should parents look for? What kind of transition is it from elementary to middle school? Because sometimes kids themselves, students themselves, they think they're grown up. They kind of want their parents to back off. And then parents they think their kids are ready and they do that. So how do you describe them and what do you advise the parents?
So what we talk about is what this is called the caught in the middle piece. And so they're not quite elementary and they're not quite high school. They want to be treated like adults, but they're not quite ready to be treated like adults. And so it is a mystery for them. They're going through physical changes, emotional changes. They're going from an elementary school where everybody's your friend to middle school where you're adjusting to friendships changing. And so it's a very tough age for them because they're going to want to pull away from you and they're going to want to have independence, but they're also going to want you to help them out. And you're going to think they're not going to want to help you out. They're going to change and they're not talking to you, but they're going to need support. And so I tell parents all the time, your support is going to shift. At elementary, you're there all the time, but this is a great time to still be involved and find different ways to be involved. There's ways I know at the middle school level, we have our school loop so parents can see their grades on a daily basis. So you can have a conversation with them at times about how their academics are going. You have opportunities with PTSA, with the band and orchestra, different things to be involved in, but it's not a time to step away from your child. It's just time to give your child a little bit more room, but definitely be involved with your child. Let them grow, let them make a few mistakes, but also be there to step in to be a support because they're changing and they're going to go through some emotional needs.
So since you have been in middle school and high school, that transition from middle school to high school, how is it, because you also had the opportunity to see the same group of students in middle school setting
Twice.
Yes. So what can you tell us?
Well, I can tell you that the middle school transition is probably the rockiest of all transitions, I think, for the student, and it's emotional for parents. The transition from middle school to high school seems to be a little smoother. The kids are a little bit more prepared as they move on to the high school level. It's that individual the want to be that individual, to be independent, that really strikes the parents hard, I think, in the middle school. And then parents kind of start to back off a little bit, but be involved in many different ways. And I agree with Josh. We both have middle school children. I have a middle school child and a high school child, and I have had the opportunity to follow from a middle school to a high school setting twice. And although the issues become much different for the high school child than the middle school child, and they tend to be a little bit probably a little bit more scary for parents because children will start making some choices that we really need to keep a handle on. So I would agree that we definitely want to give them space, but we still are their parent, and we still need to make sure that we're by their side all along. And it goes back to, so you give them an opportunity to make mistakes, but we don't give them opportunities to make mistakes in a void of support. And so, we still make sure that we call. I have a 16-year-old who has a license, and he doesn't go to somebody's home unless we've contacted the parent. We know who they are. And we also don't let him just go to random parties on his own. We need to make sure that we know where he's going. And he doesn't like that. He doesn't like the fact that we follow up with people and we call people and we follow his social media as quietly and as behind the scenes as we possibly can. And we've seen from the first day he got a phone when he was in 7th grade to an iPhone in 8th grade to, being able to earn his opportunity to have social media. Each opportunity to have that growth piece came with, some stipulations, but we let him grow from each piece. So we're constantly letting him take on these challenges. So what I've noticed is that kids do want and they do need more and more independence as we move forward. And it's giving them that opportunity in a controlled setting for the most part, and making sure that they have the support systems and they're doing it in a safe environment. I can tell you that the emotional piece, I would like to say it gets easier, but teenagers are emotional beings. And so, you'd think they shouldn't cry and get upset about things, and they still do. Life can be overwhelming. We demand a lot of our children. An athletic schedule or a musical and performing arts schedule coupled with high-level classes. It's taxing for our kids. Our kids are being asked to do a lot more than we did growing up. And so it's making sure that that support's there, that we know that they're going to have some moments of emotional breakdown. And so we have to be on them in an appropriate manner. And it's hard. Very hard. So we don't want to find ourselves pushing too hard, and giving them some freedom, but just enough freedom so that they don't get themselves into a position where it's not salvageable if they make a mistake.
Right. Very good. Okay. دوستان عزیز ارجمند، البته سوال از این قرار بود که وقتی فرزندان ما به مکتب متوسط میرن و از اونجا به مکتب عالی میرن، این ترانزیشن و یا عبور از یک مرحله به مرحله دیگه چطور میشه که یک ذره آرامتر باشه بدون امواج بالا و پایان، که هم برای فرزندان ما بسیار سخت می باشه و هم برای پدر و مادر. مخصوصا از مکتب ابتدایی وقتی که به مکتب متوسط فرزندان ما میره، البته این تغییر یک تغییر بسیار بزرگ از بسیار زیاده. وقتی به مکتب ابتدایی هستن، هم رفیقشان است، دوستشان است. و من خودم از تجربه خود میگم که من پسر خودم که صنف 7 است، من یک روز پرسانش کردم که مکتب ابتدایی که پشتش نق نشدی مثل نکردی که از یک نگاه میکنم به خاطر که همه بسیار مهربان بودن، اما در مکتب متوسطه مردم یک ذره خشن هستن، شاگردا ظالم هستن، مهربان نیستن، یکی دیگر را اذیت میکنن، که این یک موضوعی است که ما همیشه باید با فرزندان خود متوجه باشیم که امرشان صحبت کنیم به این موضوعات. و بسیار میخواین آزادی داشته باشن، فکر میکنن که اینا حالا به خاطر که 6 صنف جداگانه دارن و 6 معلم دارن و جای یک معلم باید 2 معلم، خود بسیار زیادتر، بزرگتر و مچورتر و رسیده تر فکر میکنن و باید که یک اندازه برشان جای بتیم که خودشان تصمیم بگیرن، از اشتباه خود یاد بگیرن، اشتباه کنن، ولی در عین زمان متوجهشان باشیم، آزادی که اونا میخواین برشان تسلیم نشویم، باعث پدر و مادر وظیفه خود انجام بدیم و وبسایت مکتبشان بریم، نمراتشان چک کنیم و مثلا با معلمینشان ایمیل کنیم، چک کنیم که اگر مثلا فرزند شما فکر میکنن که نمراتشان پایین است ولی شما فکر میکنین که اونا باید در یک نمره بهتر داشته باشه، در اون صورت حتما با معلم به تماشاییم. و قسمی که آقای کریس کارتر گفتن که در های اسکول همین مشکل اجتماعی یک کمتر است، به خاطر وقتی که از سن نوجوانی زیاد، مثلا از سال 12 و 13 با های اسکول سن 14 میرن، اقلا زیاد از نگاه اجتماعی مشکل زیادتر نیست که در مکتب متوسط بسیار زیادتر است، در وقت زیاد متوجه باید باشیم. ولی در مکتب عالی هم مشکلات خود داره، چالش هایش فرق میکنه، باید متوجه باشین که از نگاه سوشال میدیا، چی فیسبوک باشه و چی تویتر باشه و چی مای اسپیس باشه و هر چیزی که باشه، شما باید متوجه باشین تلفنشان چک کنین که با کی به تماس است، با کی مثلا اسنپ چت میکنن، چیزایشان چک کنین که چی چیزا را با کی کسا اینا به ارتباط هستن و شما این حق اجازه را به خود بدین که پسوردشان را باید بفهمین، هم در پیشونیشان و هم اگر در خفا در پشت سرشان هم شما چیزی چک میکنین، خود گناهکار احساس نکنین هیچ وقت. باعث پدر مادر وظیفه ما شماست که اولادای خود متوجهشان باشیم که اینا را از خطرهای اجتماعی نجات بدیم. All right, so with that said, now I want to know about drug and alcohol issues at the middle school level, because sometimes parents think that I was talking to my son who was 25 and I told him about drugs and alcohol issues at the middle school level and he was shocked. So time has changed. Mm-hmm. At his time,
no, I was the principal at his middle school. Now,
yes, I know. So when he hears that, he's like kind of shocked. Or maybe even at that time there were problems, but maybe with the crowd that he was hanging out, he didn't see it.
And that's what it goes to, is who their friends are. That's the most important thing. So to speak of drugs and alcohol at the middle school level, while it's very rare, mm-hmm. to say that we don't have somebody using something would be not truthful. It's naive. Yeah, naive. We have it here and there, mm-hmm. And it really comes down to the peer pressure piece, mm-hmm. and who they're around. Most kids don't want to be involved in that, but they don't know how to get out of the situation. And this goes back to the caught in the middle. They want to still be young, but they're thinking they need to be old. And this is how they impress their friends. Mm-hmm. And so the drug and alcohol issue at our school, when we have it, it's a group of friends where they're influencing. So it's more of an isolated group of kids compared mm-hmm. to a big problem at the school. And it goes back to the parent being involved, the parent setting the soft boundaries and letting them make decisions without putting in a safety net for them. And so what I talk to parents all about with drugs and alcohol, this is an opportunity as a parent, is you need to be the person that can help them, because they can't get out of their way. And so you need to be putting things into place for your kids. Number one, watching what's on their social media, watching what's on their Facebook. Number two, to really allow your kid to say, I can't do that because my parents drug test me. I can't mm-hmm. talk like this because my parents monitor my Facebook. Mm-hmm. I can't sneak out because my parents watch the GPS on my phone. Even if you're not, you allow them to have the out. And so they want to get out of the situation. And if you give them the tools to get out of that, they will most likely make the right decision. But they can't in the face of their friends because they don't want to look like a child, look like a baby. And so if you as a parent can say, let me be the bad guy, you can set things into place. And I don't know at high school, but we talk to kids about, I'm going to give you a call at whatever, 9 o'clock, and whatever kind of password you have, it is get me out of this situation. And then they can walk you back in the room and say, my parents are total jerks, I have to go home. And so if you give your kids tools so they can get out of situations, 99 out of 100 kids will want to get out of the situation. And so as a parent with drugs and alcohol, it's working with peer pressure and really giving them the tools to get out of situations.
And how about the high school level?
High school's becomes a different bag because the kids are just being introduced to it and they don't have a lot of freedoms at the middle school. So I would say that alcohol, not on our campuses because we run a pretty tight ship, but it has been, we do catch kids with it every once in a while. So alcohol is relatively pervasive for teenagers. They will use on the weekends and maybe go to parties. It is at parties. We live in a beach community. So I always tell parents, if they're going down to a bonfire, be careful because it's not only alcohol. Marijuana's become, easy to get, very easy. And so we see a lot of kids, using those are the two drugs they would probably use at the high school level. Those are the gateway drugs that they'll use. We don't find it a lot at school. When we do, that we have consequences, so kids don't want to suffer those consequences. But I would be naive to say that kids are not using on the weekends. So, and it goes up by age. So from a freshman, the percentages are much lower than sophomores to juniors, and then seniors, it gets more and more pervasive when kids are out and about. So I would agree with Josh 100% is having those tools for your child to be able to, have an excuse not to engage in that type of behavior. And we do drug testing at our campus. We have voluntary drug testing, so parents can sign their child up for it. We do random voluntary drug testings, and it's not for us, it's for the parents, and then we don't get the information, the parents get it. But the only reason we feel it's a real viable tool is the child can use it as an excuse to not have to engage in that type of behavior, because they can turn around and say, oh, my parents signed me up for that stupid program, blame it on their parent again and give the bad guy. We do talk about having those outs, having the phone call if they get to a party and something's going wrong. And then if they go to a party and do something wrong, it's about how are we going to treat it when they come home. So if they do make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. We have to deal with it appropriately so that we build trust with our children so that they can come to us when they're put into a very difficult situation. So when they make a mistake that they have an out, they can come to us. So let's say they do engage in maybe drinking at a party. It can't be the end of the world, because they'll never come back to us. So it's really, and that's a hard one. As a parent, it's very hard to, kind of work them through the process and let them know that it's not okay, but it's going to be okay, kind of thing. So those are the kind of issues that we deal with a lot. We have a ton of kids that will never use, that will never even drink at the high school level. So it's really trying to make sure you find those appropriate peer groups for your child to hang out with. But I think if you're a parent and you're at home and you have teenage children, you can turn around and ask them. And if they've been to parties, they'll say they've probably seen alcohol and marijuana and perhaps some other drugs. So it is a very real issue, and it's how we navigate and work through it is what's important.
And this is where it becomes important to know your friends' friends, because if what your children surround themselves with is what kind of positive or negative things they will be doing in their life. And so, and one thing in addition to one of the concerning things I have is having children growing up and not into high school yet, but being around long enough, is the increase in the amount of prescription medication that is out there, because it looks like the pills look very friendly. We have parents who take them. We have commercials who show the help that it can do. And we have an issue or an epidemic of kids who one thing might affect you this way and it'll affect me in twice the different way. And so kids are getting involved in what we see as a normal thing in parents' cabinets. And so we watch really closely prescription medication.
Prescription pharmaceuticals are
which are the most common ones that they use?
They'll look for like muscle relaxers. Soma's a big one.
The
Oxycontin, anything. A lot of times it's they'll go looking through Valium or Vicodin is a big one. Anything that parents or somebody's got received from a doctor during a surgery or some type of procedure, and they don't take it all and they leave it in their cabinet. Fair game. Once you're done with that medication, absolutely dispose of it in an appropriate manner. And you don't dispose of it down the sink or the toilet or anything like that. It needs to be taken and disposed of in an appropriate way, so that like a lot of times you can return pharmaceuticals and dump them in a like at a fire station. They'll have places to do it, but we have to be very careful. We don't want them being thrown down the sink, because that's not the right way to dispose of them. So I think pharmacies quite often might have a place where you can return the medication, so it can be just disposed of appropriately, left in your cabinet. Even if you have kids over, they can come over and look for it.
And they don't know how it affects them. Right?
And why is flushing it in the toilet not okay?
Because it's being flushed out to our oceans, and our sea life is being affected by it.
They're gonna get addicted.
That's why they're floating around. So that's what happened to Dory. You know, she got too many pharmaceuticals. So.
خب دوستان عزیز ارجمند، البته سوال ما در مورد مشروبات الکلی و مواد مخدر بود که حتی بساوی مکتب متوسطه هم البته تعدادش کم است، فیصدی کم است، اما وجود داره. باید ما فکر نکنیم که فرزندای ما که در مکتب متوسط هستن بسیار معصوم هستن و ما قسمی که به اینا گفتم. دیروز من برای پسر خودم که 25 سال است و برش گفتم که مثلا در مکتب ما شاگردان مواد مشروبات الکلی میارن و بسیار زیاد برای از بسیار یک شاک بود که در مکتب متوسط چطوری کار میشه. وقتی که ما بودیم این چیزا نبود و وقت البته یک اندازه بود، اما خوشبختانه با رفقایی که اونا سر کار داشتن چیزا رو نمی‌کردن. اما امروز یک اندازه شاید از 12 سال پیش و یا 15 سال پیش کرده این مشکل زیادتر شده باشه و باید ما متوجه فرزندای خود باشیم و امرشان صحبت کنیم که اگر کسی برای چیز آفر کرد و بگوین قبول نکن. بخاطر بعضی اوقات نوجوانا فکر میکنن که خب اگر وقتی که یک چیز رو امتحان میکنن فقط برای امتحان، بسیاری فکر میکنن که تنها یک امتحانی ببینن که به اصطلاح مزهش ببینن، تاثیرش ببینن و با اون قسم آهسته آهسته محتاط میشن و بعضیا فکر میکنن که یک نشانه عزیز که ما کلان شدیم، بزرگ شدیم و بسیار خود مهمتر فکر میکنه و فکر میکنه که آزادی برش هست، در حالی که این آزادی نیست و بعضی اوقات راه گریز ندارن. وقتی راه گریز ندارن ما باید امرشون صحبت کنیم که باعث پدر و مادر ما برشون بگویم که ما رو به اصطلاح متهم بسازه، بگویم که پدر مادر ما در مکتب باید درگ تست که به صورت داوطلبانه والنتری میشه و کار سر ما میکنه. اگر و در خانه هم البته است میتونین که بگوین که من در خانه پدر مادرم مرا یا ادرار معاینه میکنن و یک چیز که اونا با اون خاطر باز رفقایشون فشار سرشان نبیاره. و یا مثلا اگر یک مهمانی پارتی فرزندای ما میره برشان بگویم که مثلا اولی که باید بدانیم که کجا میره، خانه کی میرن، با کدام رفقا میره، فامیل از نوجوانا رو باید ما بشناسیم. جایی که کسی رو نمیشناسیم باید فرزندای خود هیچ وقت اجازه ندیم و در اون جایی که هم میشناسیم باید که برشان یک راه گریز نشان بدیم. بگویم مثلا اگر کسی بالای فشار میاره به صورت خصوصی بر شما تکست کنه که من نجات بده، یا بسیار به کلمه یک شفر کوتاه با بین خود بگذارید. با صورت وقتی که به شما اون تکست کرد شما باشن تلفن میکنین، وقتی تلفن کنین اون پسرتون و دخترتون میگه که پدر مادر من بسیار کار است، من بسیار پدر مادر قیدگیر دارم و هر چیزی که میگه تمام معلوماتی سر شما پرته و از امو سیچویشن و موقف خود نجات بده، به خاطر که اگر نجات ندن بند میمانن و خدا نخواسته مشکل دیگه را خلق میکنه که این هم به بسیاری جوانش رخ داده و ما نمیخوایم که فرزندای ما در چنین موقف قرار بگیره. I would like to, this probably be something that might make my viewers uncomfortable too, but it goes on in high school, but people do ask me all the time about students' sexual activity in middle school and high school, or is there something going on? Do you hear about it? Middle school, high school?
So I think at the middle school level, it's more talk than action. They'll talk about something. They begin their early stages of dating. And what we what we say is dating is not really dating. They have no access to cars. They have no,
Yeah.
and so their dating is what is going on at school, where they sit next to
Right.
each other at lunch. What is increased though is the access to talk to each other outside of school through all the different Snapchats
Right.
and Facebook and Instagram and FaceTime and Skype and all those kind of things. And so they can continue to have relationships out of school, but it is the early stages in middle school.
Mhm.
It is very seldom do you have true, what you would call defined sexual activity, as much as the beginning of the dating and liking somebody and dealing with that piece.
And
At the high
there's
school.
more exciting.
Sure. Children are hormonal beings, like all of us. But as they progress and I would have to say, as I'm mumbling all over myself, speaking of the topic, but yeah, sexual activity is quite common in the high school level for kids, depending on where they're at. So it's not something we get much information on because it's done in the privacy of their own, maybe vehicles or homes. I don't know. But we don't get much of that information. So as a high school principal, I'm never really brought into the fray with any of that,
Okay.
and we'll keep it that way. So, yeah. No, it's
Keeping
something that's
simple.
done. We don't really get a sense, but we know. I mean,
But it
obviously.
is something that for parents to talk to their
Oh,
Absolutely.
absolutely. So you can assume if they're dating for a while, and not only if they're just dating for a while, but that's an important conversation to be having with your child about appropriate behavior and safe types of activity so that they
and
don't
peer
find
pressure
themselves.
has to do with it.
And
right?
this is where it goes back to the boundary piece we talked about. These kids want some sort of boundaries
Right.
set with them. And so it's important that you talk to them about where you stand on certain things and why you stand on certain things. And so you can have that conversation so they don't find themselves in a situation where they're out of control and can't get out of that situation. So it's important to have the conversations with them.
Social media is a really important piece to
Right.
follow to see kind of how they're portraying themselves on the World Wide Web.
Yeah.
And that can give you some indicators as well.
Right.
But conversations, because absolutely when a child is hitting 16, 17, 18 years old, that's something that's absolutely on their mind.
And
Absolutely.
teach them ways to say no.
Absolutely. Teach them ways to say no, how to be appropriate, and not get themselves into those situations.
Right.
So again, this all kind of goes back to drugs and alcohol, parties, and opportunities. When they find themselves where there's a lot of inappropriate behavior going on, that's something that's an absolute risk. And our teenagers are put into some very compromising
Right.
positions. So making sure that they know how to get out of that situation, contact your parents, having that safe phone call, having the password, having the time to call, so that your child can get out of a situation that can be very difficult.
And it goes back to peer pressure, because when they go to high school and even middle school, peers will have a far greater influence on them than you would, as a parent. And so it's important that you know their peers, because I've watched kids with my kids alone, they talk to me less, but all of their friends will talk to me. And so can gain information about what's going on with your kids by talking to kids. Make yours the house where kids want to hang out. Put a few extra sodas in the fridge.
Yeah.
Have the
Find a pool.
have the pool, the trampoline, but you have the place, because then when they're hanging out there,
You hear them.
drive the carpools. That's where you find the intel. Not so much intel, but you find out what your kids are up to.
Right.
And you'd be surprised if you have a good relationship with your kids and your kids' friends. They're going to want to tell you when your child is doing something that they don't agree with, and to help them and gain help for them. And so those are the important things, because peer pressure is one of the most dangerous things.
Right.
And then having the open lines of communication so that your child can talk to you. And then if they do make a mistake, again, that's where you can't be the heavy. You can't come down with a hard hammer on them, because they won't tell you stuff.
Right.
And that's very hard. I know, because I'm a parent. And so, it's very hard to have restraint. So we may say that, but it is a hard place to go. So it's really trying to say, if they make a mistake, how are you going to process forward? Because what maybe has happened has already happened, but how do you support them and move forward so they can make appropriate decisions?
I'm proud to say that I teach my students 20 ways of saying no to sexual involvement.
Absolutely.
And especially I tell the boys, because they think that girls will not, if a girl put pressure on them, it's okay. And they have to give in, because then they're going to look like less of a man. So I think it's important for parents to know that boys can say no too.
Right.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Women and girls are much more aggressive today than they
Right.
were in the past.
Exactly. دوستای عزیز ارجمند، البته در قسمت ارتباطات جنسی هم باید متوجه باشیم. فکر نکنیم که فرزندای ما سنینشون خورده است، ولی دوستا و رفیقایشان البته مکتب متوسط تنها صحبت در موردش میکنن و مخصوصا امروز سوشل میدیا و تکست و این همه چیزا بسیار زیاد در این قسمت و وقت تلفنشان میتونن به یوتیوب برن، یعنی هر چیزی میتونن در دسترسشان است. باید امرشان صحبت کنیم، راه خوب و بد برشان نشان بدیم و مخصوصا وقتی به مکتب عالی میدن زیادتر، مخصوصا ما شما افغانا و مسلمانا متاسفانه یک عادت داریم در کلتور خود که یک تعداد والدین فکر میکنن که تنها دخترایشان باید که همیشه بسیار زیر انضباط باشه، ولی پسرای خود اصلا بعضی اوقات برشان نمیفهمونن و نمیگن که بگوین که نه، اینا میتونن که بگوین نه یک کسی یک دختر. و در دنیای امروز، در دنیای غرب مخصوصا دخترها زیادتر فشار میارن بالای پسرها و بسیار اگریسیو هستن. برای یک پسر بسیار باید یک چیز عیب نیست برشان که بگوین نه و من اجازه ندارم و پدر و مادرم اجازه نداده و یک موقف خرابی قرار میگیرن. باید که اما قسمتی که در قسمت مشروبات الکلی و مواد مخدر میتونین که بر ملامتی سر شما پرده، در این قسمت هم میتونن که این کار کنن، به خاطر که بسیار مهم است دنیای امروز مخصوصا امراضی که است و غیر از او که باید به فرزندان خود بفهمانیم که درست نیست وقتی که با اسکول حتی به کالج میرن برشان بفهمانیم. اگر ما همشون صحبت نکنیم واسه که و فکر میکنن که غیر مستقیم ما برشان اجازه دادیم. همچنان در مورد مشروبات الکلی و دخانیات اگر ما در موردش صحبت نکنیم، فرزندای ما اتومات فکر میکنن خب البته پدر مادر ما امی اجازه رو به ما داده که بر ما هیچ وقت نمیگه که کار نادرست است. پس باید که ما گوشه ما باز باشه و همیشه دوستا و رفیقای فرزندای خود در خانه خود دعوت کنیم و یا وقتی کارپول در موتر وقتی اما زحمت به خود قبول کنیم که برسانیمشون از یک جای به دیگر جای و از خانه به مکتب. وقتی جوانا و اطفال بین خود صحبت میکنن شما گوش کنین که در مورد چی که صحبت میکنن، گوشه معلوماتتان به قسمت زیادتر میشه. So now it's funny that academics is the last on my list because usually parents worry more about academics themselves too. They check their grades. How sometimes parents push their children beyond their what should I say?
Threshold.
Yes,
Yeah,
threshold. What they can do. They have too much expectations, and sometimes they don't push enough. So what is enough? What is good? What should they do to keep them? Like how would the parents' academic involvement is important in their child's academic in middle school, and then in high school. You can tell us also about how much should they be involved and what matters.
Well, at the end of the day, academics are really important. That's why we have schools as the
Right,
academics.
exactly.
But one of the things, what I say about middle school, this is the time to experiment with your child in the sense of giving them freedom to practice things and also pulling in tightly. So when they prepared for high school, they come in there and they can be their own students. But I will tell you one of the most important things academically, because there is stress and anxiety. Being a student in today's time is really hard because it takes a lot to get into the schools around us. It's important to not worry about other kids except for your own.
Right.
And that's what I try to tell parents all the time is you
Like
need to
don't
focus.
compare them.
Don't compare. Don't just because so-and-so's kids can handle this workload doesn't mean your child's not successful. You have to push your child within their realms. And hopefully by the time they get to middle school and into high school, you know what your kid's skill level is and you can push them. And sometimes it's acceptable to get a C because that's a really hard subject matter for a child compared to knowing that a kid should be getting an A in that classroom. And it's not all about getting the A and pushing kids because we do have issues, I know at middle school, with anxiety and depression that are truly set in because they can't keep up with their friends because their parents put the pressure on them. So know your own kid, worry about your own kid, push your own kid, and support your own kid.
Yeah, and I think it's okay to push to an extent and to their threshold. Middle school is a great place to practice because the grades do not transfer. And we know that high school, it's for real. GPAs are real. The classes you take are going to have implications for what college you get into. So it's hard, I think, as a parent to be able to say, I want my child to go to the best college in the world. Well, there's 4,000 colleges in the United States of America, and your child will get into the right college or tech school or institution that is appropriate for them. I think the most important piece at the high school level is finding balance. Having kids work hard is good. It's important, but having kids work to emotional breakdowns is not appropriate. Try to pick the most rigorous class your child can find success in, but realize that in the end, it's not about a 4.5 or 4.8 GPA that's going to get your child into the most prestigious schools. That'll help greatly, but there's a lot of kids that will end up with these high GPAs. It's really about showing that you've raised a well-rounded child. So I think it's, we may push academics. And a lot of times, immigrant families think it's all about the classroom experience.
Right.
And really what I think if you're raised in a Western culture, it's more about being able to balance not only your academics coupled with maybe sports and performing arts and leadership opportunities, being part of clubs and being in your community and having volunteer and service hours are very important pieces to really build the well-rounded application and well-rounded child for a college experience. So realize that it's finding a place where your child is being challenged, but not crushed, where they're finding success. So if they're getting a C in an AP class, well, maybe the AP class was a little hard. A C is okay, but an advanced placement class, which is a college level class for a high school student, may be a bit much. And you might want to find that perhaps getting the A in the regular class is more important, or even a B in the regular class, because if they're spending endless hours on their homework and they're not able to do anything else, we're not building a well-rounded child.
And we talk about at the middle school level, when we're prepping them for high school and college and career and beyond, is finding the college or career that suits you instead of you trying to fit it. And so when he talks about the 4,000 schools, we do this thing where we open up to a random page, begin to read about the school, and the kids are like, well, that's a great looking school. And it's like, well, that's Western Kentucky. And we have kids so much that are so set on, I need to get into Cal State, I need to get into UC, whatever, and I'm not getting into Berkeley, and I have to have the 4.8. Instead of saying, do your best, find your interest, find things that are exciting to you, that makes you a well-rounded person, and the school will find you. And that's making the experience there to be successful in life.
Hey, Mr. Carter, what do you advise parents or students about a 2-year college versus 4-year college?
Okay, we, especially in California, but I think throughout the United States of America, we have wonderful community colleges. Our community colleges are just as rigorous and just as challenging, and prepare our children or young adults for college and career. And so again, if your child's able to get into the 4-year college of their dreams, wonderful. You're going to pay for it. If you go to a community college, you're going to save an inordinate amount of money. If your child's not knowing where they want to go, community college is a wonderful opportunity. But what I keep hearing, and what's frustrating, is a lot of times our kids, when they're leveling back, they're leveling down from a highly rigorous course, they'll say, I'm just going to our local community college. And it's not I'm just going, because it's just as hard to be successful at our community colleges as it is at a 4-year university. So they're wonderful opportunities. I think if your child does not have a clue what they want to do, great opportunity. If there's a financial situation, great opportunity. If your child gets into a college that they're not really excited about and it wasn't their choice, have them do a 2-year college, because the transfer opportunities to maybe a school that they see as more prestigious to them, or maybe more is a great opportunity. So community colleges are a gift. We're fortunate to have them. And I would say that for that child, for many children, they're the right choice.
Very good. Also, as far as financially, because sometimes students are kind of lazy, they don't apply themselves. Are there any kind of help for parents to find a way to apply so they know?
Every family needs to fill out the FAFSA. The FAFSA is how you get financial aid. So don't rely on your child, because it's very difficult to do. It needs to be done with the families. And right now it opened in October this year. It opened early. So now they would be going on and filling out their FAFSA for wherever they're at in the United States of America. Make sure you get that filled out because it's an important piece, and it's important even if you're going to community college. So don't think you don't need to fill it out. Once you get it going and keep it going, there could be financial support even for community college. Not a lot, but there's money there. Also, moving forward the next year or two when you end up getting into a college. So even if you're relatively wealthy, whatever that means, from wherever you live in the world, country, I would recommend that they fill that out no matter what. So that is a parent and child deal. It's going to be based on the parent's income. And the parents need to be looking around as well, because I know relying on a senior to fill out all of the applications and all of the essays and all of the stuff that has to happen doesn't quite often happen. Kids are overwhelmed with schoolwork. It's almost like taking an extra course load when you're trying to get ready for college. So look for great opportunities. Encourage your child. If your child has received a letter of recommendation from a teacher or a counselor at your school, and it's a good one, or maybe even a community member that they're using for maybe the Common App, Common Application for colleges, that can be quickly turned into a letter of recommendation for a scholarship. I know we don't write essays for UCs anymore. They're personal interest questions, so they're not doing the full essay anymore. But if they wrote an essay for another application for private schools and stuff like that, those can quite often be manipulated. So use your resources so you're not recreating the wheel all the time, and be looking for money for your child. You don't rely on them because they're quite often not footing the bill.
Okay. So my next question is about grades. A parent wanted to call, so I said I'll ask the question myself. You can answer that too, but that question was about high school. If a child, let's say, has earned a certain grade, and the teacher lost the paper, doesn't have the evidence, and then just that lowered the student's grade. Can you as a principal do something, move that back the grade, or do something, because the child, you're going to expect the child to retake the test because the parent thinks it's not fair to my child to retake that test if the teacher has lost it? What is the policy? Or is that for school? How would you?
Well, I can answer that because I've dealt with that quite a bit in my career of 23 years as an educator. So the grades are the purview of the teacher.
Right.
And so, and it's in Ed Code, in California Ed Code. So in California, it is written that the teacher is responsible for the grade. And so the only time a administrator could get involved unless if there was something egregious that was done in the grading process. So if it's a debate over my child turned it in and you lost it, and the teacher doesn't accept that, really you're working with the teacher.
The teacher has accepted that she lost it.
Okay.
She has lost. She says, okay, reread this book and I'll give you another test. And the parent saying, my child is busy with all the AP classes. I do not want her to read this book again. You have lost the test.
That's all negotiated with the teacher.
With the teacher. And if the teacher, even if it's her fault,
they can always go to the administration, and administration can help them through the process. So I would not be afraid to call the administration. If it's at high school, you'll probably be working with an assistant principal.
She met with the assistant principal too, and she is supporting the teacher, and that's why she's really frustrated. She wants to go at the district level. And
the district's not going to be able to do much for them because really the grade is the purview of the teacher. So, but quite often we get involved in matters such as those so we can support parents through the process.
And most commonly, though, teachers will work with parents. I mean,
it doesn't sound like it was on this case. And those can be those are very frustrating situations.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time. Time flies when you're having fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. دوستان عزیز ارجمند، البته چون وقت برنامه به پایان رسیده، این موضوعات را که صحبت کردیم موضوعاتی است که زیادتر هموطنان مختلف ایالات متحده آمریکا زندگی میکنن. موضوعات ارتباط داره و امیدوار هستم که با زبان انگلیسی آشنایی داشته باشین و فهمیدین همه چیزه، چون وقت ترجمه کردنش نیست. اما باز هم اگر سوال داشته باشین، ایمیل ما روی صفحه تلویزیون میبینین mir@gmail.com و یا میتونین بعد از ختم برنامه به من تلفن کنین. انشالله که پاسخگوی سوالات میباشم. و با تشکر مجدد از مهمانان عزیز ما، آقای کریس کارتر و آقای جاش فلکسر و همکار عزیز ما نیلو جان، برنامه امروز به همینجا به پایان میرسونیم. تا هفته آینده خداوند یار و مددگار
بود ارکی دانا بود ز دانش دل پیر برنا بود.
آریانا افغانستان یگانه شبکه تلویزیونی ملی افغان‌ها در خارج از کشور.
سرخط مهمترین های دوشنبه: حضور وزیران سلب اعتماد شده در نشست امروز کابینه. حکومت برای گریز از بحران دست به دامان دادگاه عالی شده است.
از آنجا که این موضوع برای سرنوشت کشور بسیار تعیین کننده است، حکومت از اصدار محکمه افغانستان خواستار تفسیر شده است.
صندوق‌های رای که در غیاب استیضاح شده ها گذاشته می شود. مجلس در 30مین روز آمار سلب صلاحیت اعضای کابینه را کاهش داد.
آیا حکومت وزرا را میفرسته یا نمیفرسته؟
دیدار با هیئت کمیته تحریم‌های شورای امنیت سازمان ملل. رئیس جمهور غنی خواهان موقف‌گیری روشن این کمیته در برابر کشورهای پشتیبان هراس افغانی شده است. بی ارادگی رهبران حکومت در کار مبارزه با فساد اداری.
اراده سیاسی در رهبران حکومت وحدت ملی هم زیر سوال است.
17 نهادی که تا حالا برای از میان برداشتن فساد کار کرد چه اثری به جا مانده است. و توافق امریکا با استرالیا برای انتقال پناهجویان سواحل اقیانوس جنوبی. به نام خدا، سلام و شامتان بخیر. به مهمترین ها از یک خوش آمدید. من رؤوف اجمل هستم. حکومت از دادگاه عالی خواسته است تا موضوع استیضاح 17 وزیر کابینه از سوی مجلس نمایندگان را تفسیر کند. سرور دانش معاون دوم ریاست جمهوری اقدام مجلس نمایندگان برای استیضاح وزیران را سیاسی و پرسش برانگیز خوانده و تاکید کرده است که این کار میتواند افغانستان را به سوی بحران بزرگ بکشاند. امروز وزیران